Stop talking about comic books or I'll kill you. I don't care if the Hulk could defeat the Man of Steel. I'm gonna rearrange your face if you continue to debate whether Logan's claws could pierce Steve Rogers' shield.
Hey there, comic fam. Bullseye Bob here, and welcome to Everything Comics, and welcome to the inaugural episode of Reviews, Previews, and Back Issue Breakdowns. That's right, it's not the Having Comics with My Coffee show anymore. This is the new format going forward, and most of this is not going to be anything new. The show's pretty much going to be the same as far as my weekly reviews, but I'll also be adding single issue reviews, previews, and then sometimes I'll be doing back issue breakdowns as well, and that'll all be under the title of this show, Reviews, Previews, and Back Issues Breakdowns, and I'm really excited about it. Got a lot of great stuff planned. First of all, I just want to say Happy New Year to everybody. I know I haven't put content out in about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks or so. Was a really crazy holiday season right after Christmas there. And but I'm back in the swing of things, and wanted to drop the new format, the new show. And so here we are. Hope you enjoy it. It's going to be a work in progress, and so you won't notice too many differences, like I said, in this show, but you'll see later on this week I have some stuff that'll be dropping, and you'll see some differences there, and then you'll kind of get the vision of what I'm trying to do here. So before we get into our books, as always, we start with some announcements. And the first thing I wanted to announce is there are some channels out there that I wanted to give some shout outs to. They're coming up on some milestones, and it's been a while since I've shown some love to other channels in the YouTube community. Love our community, and we have a lot of great people in it. And sometimes it's just time to go ahead and make sure that everybody's aware of other stuff that's going on. And so I wanted to mention a few channels. Like I said, they're getting close to milestones. And if you'd be so kind, go check out their channels, and definitely check out their content. Give them a subscribe. Help them get to that next milestone, and definitely support them in this wonderful community. So the first channel that I wanted to go ahead and shout out is the Immortal Biggieshaq. That's right. He puts out a lot of great content, and this guy really should be considered one of the pillars in our comic community. He shows love to everybody. He's a straight shooter. He'll always tell you how it is. He's got mad hunting skills, and he's just an all-around great dude. I love the way he supports the community, and I love his heart. And listen, he's getting close to 1,000 subscribers. He's like almost right there. I think last I checked, he was right at about 940. Go check out his channel. Like I said, give him a subscribe, and he puts content on a regular basis. And he also, you'll see him quite frequently in a lot of the chat channels, because he supports a lot of people in this community. I love the brother, but let's get him to 1,000 subscription, guys. So that's the first one. And like I said, all these links to these channels will be down in the description. Go check them out. So the next one I wanted to mention is the Southern Comic Geek. This guy is just an awesome soul. I mean, total comic geek. He's part of the tribe. He's also one that loves to go hunting, frequently shows his hauls on his channel. He has a goal of getting up to 750 subscribers. I think he may have gotten there by the time this video drops. But we want to get him up to 1,000, right? Like I said, he puts out a lot of great stuff. Go check him out as well, and give him a subscription, and let him know who you are. Another one that I wanted to mention is From Heroes to Icons. That's right. Jason is another one in our community that shows a lot of support to a lot of people and puts out a lot of great content as well. He has a weekly comic book show that he drops showing your must-have comics for the week. He also has another show called On the Run, where he shows specific runs that are in his collection. He's got a great Instagram page, and he's just an all-around awesome deep dive comics brother. So check out his channel. He also does commissions on artwork. You can go to his Instagram page and check out some of the artwork that he does. But this is my brother from another mother. We're cut from the same cloth, and we can deep dive on a lot of different things, including, like you see my Shaw Brothers shirt. He loves some kung fu movies just like I do, and we can cut it up on that as well. So go check out From Heroes to Icons and give him some love. Then the last one that I wanted to mention is Lost in Comics. These two brothers, just like Two Brothers Comics, they do everything together. They came on the scene real fast and started putting out content with a lot of like bigger name creators. And they do a weekly show as well, showing your new comic book day pickups. They do a lot of great interviews. And I got to tell you, I love the family dynamic that between these two. You can definitely tell that family is important to them. And but they are becoming pillars in the comic community. Really enjoy these brothers' content. I don't think they're close to 1,000. Their goal, I think, they're right around 750 or so. But let's get them up to 1,000 as well. Show them some love and give them a subscription. But there are so many channels that I could go over and let you know about, and maybe that's what I'll be doing going forward, is just highlighting some of those channels, some of those people that are getting close to their milestones. But we have so many great people in this community, and I'm just privileged and honored to know each of them. I mean, just the 4 channels that I mentioned just now, I really enjoy their content, and I think that you will too. So go check them out, please. So the next thing I wanted to mention is my giveaways. That's right. In the last couple of videos, I have mentioned some giveaways that I'm doing just as, for my 1-year anniversary being a YouTube channel. And I mean, I'm just using that as an excuse to show some love to the community and give back. I'm not trying to do a giveaway to gain subscriptions or anything like that. It's just my way of saying thank you to everybody who has supported the channel and has gotten me to where I'm at right now as far as my subscriptions and how many people view the channel. I really appreciate everybody, and so I got a bunch of stuff I'm giving away. But what I had said before, and I really, if you guys watch the brand new Coffee and Comic show with Bueller and I this morning, you'll see that I found out that I was wrong about the way Bueller had been shipping out things. I had focused on what I had seen before with his Bueller boxes and things like that, and he doesn't ship those to Canada or outside of the US because of customs and things like that. And for the people who are buying comics, it's not worth it to them to pay that price. But on his giveaways, he pays the cost. And so I wasn't thinking that way. And so my apologies. I am opening this up to anybody who wants to enter, and I'm going to make this really easy. All you have to do is on this video in the comments, leave the hashtag, just hashtag everything comics, and you're entered to win. Don't worry if you've already entered. You don't have to do that on this particular video. You're already entered into it. But anybody who wants to enter for these giveaways, that's all you have to do. Just put the hashtag everything comments down in the comment section. Leave me a comment and then use the hashtag everything comic. That's all you have to do. And then in the next week or so, I'll announce a live stream where I will show a randomizer and we'll pick the winners of what is going to be given away. And let me show you some of the things I'm giving. So first of all, some of you know that I'm partnered with the Rogue Trader. That's the service that I use for my pressing and cleaning. They got so much more than that. They have comics on their website that you can check out. They're a great service. Go check them out. There's a link down in the description for them as well. But they've given me 3 coupons worth $15 a piece for their pressing and cleaning service if you want to try that out. And so 3 people will get one of those $15 coupons. Another thing that I'm giving away is I'm partnered also with TKO Studios. I'm giving away this copy, this trade paperback of The Banks. This is really cool because this has been optioned to be made into, I think it's a mini series that's coming out. And it's about a family of women in Chicago who are the best at doing like bank heists. And so really, really great comic. This will be great for whoever wins that. And then you guys know how much I love Canto, and I can't spread the Canto love enough. And so somebody will win the Canto trade paperback of the first original Canto series that came out last year. And this is amazing. I really hope that whoever wins this doesn't have it or has not read it before, because I like turning everybody on to this particular title. And then next, this last month, Daredevil 25 came out, where we found out that Elektra is going to be the new Daredevil. We don't know for how long, but everybody freaked out over it, and the title blew up. So I have a copy of that to give away, and of course this title has really blown up, and so some lucky winner will get a copy of this. And then the grand prize winner, I have all 4 copies of Ice Cream Man number 20, all of the Dr. Seuss issues, It's first, second, third, and fourth prints. And so some lucky winner will get all 4 of those books. And so like I said, anybody can enter now. I'm opening it up for anybody. And we'll just use this video as the last piece for the cutoff on it. Just leave a comment down in the comment section. All you got to do is leave the hashtag everythingcomics. And then lastly, I just mentioned the brand new Coffee and Comic Show. That's the other show that I'm on with my good buddy Bueller. And that show airs every Monday morning, 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I know some of you saw this morning's video where we discussed the reboots, and it was an awesome show. Bueller and I had so much fun filming that, and then also being with everybody who was there with us in the premiere this morning. We had such a fun time. It's a longer video than normal. It goes about an hour and 20 minutes, but go check it out. It's already there. But you can always catch us on Monday mornings, 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for the brand new Coffee and Comic Show. It's my favorite part of the week, and I just love hanging out with my brother and talking comics. And so before we get into our reviews, we always start with our cover of the week. And this week's cover of the week is brought to you by TKO Studios. They're putting out a lot of great content over on their website. There's a link down in the description. Go check them out. If there's anything you see there and you want to make a purchase on your way out, just use the code everything20 and you get 20% off your purchase. How can you beat that? And like I said, they got a lot of great stuff over there. But this week's cover of the week comes from Wolverine number 8, and this is the Clayton Crane variant. I'm not talking about the normal, just regular variant that we first saw, which is an homage to Hulk 340. I'm going to put it on the screen right now. This is the one that came out after with this. I don't want to call it a black light cover because I don't think it's been touted as that, but a lot of people are calling it that because of the type of colors they've been using. But the colors on this thing are phenomenal. Of course, you just can't beat that homage to that great cover that originally was done by Todd McFarlane. And here we have Clayton Crane, homaging that cover. And look at the colors on this thing. I think that's what, first of all, his artwork is just impeccable. I love his stuff. But when you took it to the level, I don't know who colored this, but it's just phenomenal. It's amazing. It strikes me. I have to get this cover. This is one of those that I did not get into the solicitation on, but I will definitely, I'm willing to pay a little more to get this cover because it's just phenomenal. So there it is in all its glory. Wolverine number 8, the Clayton Crane cover. I'm calling it the black light cover, but there it is. It's awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into our reviews. And so this week's reviews are a little bit different. I'm not reviewing books from just this last new comic book day, but also the previous week, the week of Christmas. Our LCS was severely delayed on getting their books in, and we didn't actually get books. I think they didn't come in until Saturday. And by that time, I was already, into the holiday celebration, and I just was not going to have time to be able to film or do anything. And I just got behind on my reading big time. And then the books that came out just before New Year's, they were also delayed. I didn't actually get those until this last Saturday, but still, with all the things that I've been doing, I didn't really get a chance to read all my comics until the last couple of days. And so I cherry picked a few titles. And so, these are over the last couple of weeks. So it's not like a set new comic book day review day like I would normally do. This is just reviewing some books over the last couple of weeks, that most of which are the ones that I like the most. So that's what you're going to get. So the first book is The Department of Truth, number 4 by Image Comics. This one, of course, is written by James Tynion. Art by Martin Simmons, and the lettering by Aditya Bidikar. And this is the first time you're ever hearing me speak about Aditya Bidikar. I know that Robbie from Pop Culture Philosophers highly touts this guy. And so I'm not jumping on any bandwagon or anything like that or trying to copy Robbie. I want to applaud Robbie for pointing out one of the gems that you can find in comics if you're really looking for it, because lettering is probably the most underrated piece of comic creation that's appreciated. And so, and when he points out the fact that Aditya Bidikar is doing some amazing things inside of lettering, it's something that you should take a look at and check out. And the reason why I highlight it this week, because there are actually 2 books in my reviews where you'll see his lettering, and it's just so much different, and you can see how that difference brings tone and style to the books. And so that's what you're getting inside of the Department of Truth. The lettering inside of this by Bidikar is no different. It really sets tone and mood, and something that you should be checking out. So here we are in issue 4, and this issue kind of breaks the pattern of what we've been seeing over the last few issues since the beginning. Of course, in issue number 1, it kind of set the whole tone of what we're doing with the Department of Truth and conspiracy theories, and it kind of set up the world, and then also kind of brought out like 3 or 4 different conspiracy theories and how they are affected just by people's thinking. And so here we are, and then issue number 2, you had them focus on a single conspiracy theory. Issue 3 did the same thing. It focused on a single conspiracy theory. And so I started to think that that's what this was going to be, was every issue we just get a new conspiracy theory, and how the Department of Truth is kind of dealing with it. And I think it was good to kind of set some tone, but now we have a complete shift, and inside of this book, we're kind of going back to the overall narrative and not just dealing with a conspiracy theory, but how the Department of Truth actually deals with these things, how they work, how they are affected by people, the organization that is actually trying to subvert information and create these conspiracy theories, and how the Department of Truth is battling them. And it really, really gets into all the mechanics of it, and I really enjoyed this issue. Our main character, Cole, is now in a position where he's learning all this stuff, and at the very end, I'm not going to tell you what happens, but at the very end of this issue, it reminded me of the Matrix, whether he's going to take the red pill or the blue pill. And I'll just spoil it a little bit. He takes the red pill, and he's going to go down the rabbit hole, and I'll leave it at that so you can see what's going on. But this is a title that you should be on. James Tynion has just been killing it in 2020. I've got no reason to think he's not going to keep doing the same thing in 2021. I'm so excited for the stuff that he has coming out, and this is becoming one of my favorite titles of the month. Department of Truth is amazing. Also, the artwork by Simmons inside of this book, the tone of it is just so spot on. It's surreal and gritty at the same time while this is going on, and I just love it. I mean, just so many aspects of this all put together makes it not just a great comic, but a great team. And so I just look forward to it. Okay, so for our next book, we have Batman Annual number 5. This one by DC Comics. This one also written by James Tynion, and art by James Stokoe. Wow. Okay, so normally I don't really, get into annuals. I think they're, since the beginning of time, they're pretty much a cash grab. Usually on months where you have a 5th week is where they kind of bring out annuals. It's not in the normal rotation of books, and, usually they just throw a bunch of arbitrary stuff inside of there, and they usually don't have very much meaning, usually. But in this last year, we've seen 2 different annuals come out of the big 2. We had Marvel Comics put out the Daredevil annual by Chip Zdarsky, and then we have this one from DC Comics being put out by James Tynion. And I gotta say, I mean, this one it was awesome. I loved it, absolutely. It wasn't just arbitrary stuff being thrown in. This is still part of the narrative that James Tynion has been creating from the Joker War and his run on the Batman title. And this particular annual focuses on the Clown Hunter. So the first thing I noticed when I opened this book was the artwork. This is done by James Stokoe, and this was just phenomenal stuff. I've never heard of him before, but he's definitely going to be on my radar going forward. I know that he's going to be doing Orphan and the 5 Beasts coming up. I forget which comic company's putting that out, but I've definitely, when I saw the solicitation, I definitely put it on my pull list, but I had no idea that this was the same artist, so I'm really looking forward to that title. And so the way the artwork is done inside of this, it's amazing. Not only does he do the penciling and inking and the coloring, it is very stylized, very nuanced, and it gives you just a complete tonal feeling through the whole book. It's got a sickly sweet monochrome type color palette that he uses, which is used for great effect. I don't think I've ever seen it in anything else but horror books mainly. And then also the style, very gritty. But at the same time, it almost has that underground comic feel, but done in such a wonderful way. The panel work that's done is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And so the story revolves around the character, the Clown Hunter. Of course, we know who that is. That's the character that we know that was created by Harley Quinn, not just Harley Quinn, but the Joker. They killed his parents. And so as a result, when the Joker War happened and all these clowns are coming into the Narrows and basically taking over the town, this kid has been waiting for Batman to come and do something, and he doesn't, and he finally snaps and tries to take it into his own hands. He's going to do something. He's going to make sure that nobody goes through what he went through, a la the same type of thing that Bruce went through as a kid, where he decided to become Batman so that this would never happen to anybody else again. And he becomes the Clown Hunter. And so that's what we get inside of this story, is the origin of this character, which was great. And if you take it at face value, you could say, yes, it's the Clown Hunter's origin story, but it was so much deeper than that. James Tynion really did something inside of this book that I wasn't expecting, and I just loved it because it resonated with me on an emotional level. And in the last Batman book, we had the Clown Hunter deciding not to kill Harley in the moment that he could have taken her life. And in basically doing so, Batman gives him a card for somebody to help him, and basically tells him that, you know, turning the other way, he and other people can help him do the right thing so that he doesn't go the wrong way. So in this book, we find out who the person is on the card that he gave to him, and it's Leslie Tompkins, and she runs a clinic in Crime Alley to help people get off the street and stop doing what they've been doing, the destructive behavior and things like that. And so we have the Clown Hunter seeking her out and just trying to make sense of who he is in the moment. And she doesn't promise that she can help him at all. She just starts a conversation with him. And that's where the beauty of this comes in. Because this is the type of work that I have come to do. This is the type of thing that happened to me where, I had some bad things happen inside of my life, and I went down a path of healing, and somebody sat with me and asked me questions and brought me to an inner dialogue with myself and set me on a path of healing where I found not only, my inner peace and inner healing, but I also found God, which was the most beautiful thing that ever happened in my life. And so here we are inside of this narrative, and this same type of work is being done with this kid. And so at the very end of the book, we find out what the title of the story is, which is Hope in Crime Alley. And that's where we find that Leslie is actually the main character of the book, because she's the hope there for the Clown Hunter. Really resonated with me emotionally. Not only was the artwork incredible, and I'm talking really incredible, because some of the panel work inside of this was amazing, but the story was so well done, and it hit me in the heartstrings, probably because it resonates with my own story. And I just want to say that I was really surprised by this annual, and it's phenomenal. So don't sleep on this one. Definitely get it. It's awesome. So for our next book is Miles to Go, issue number 3. This one by Aftershock Comics. This one written by B. Clay Moore, and the art and coloring by Stefan Molnar. I have to say, I'm so glad that I kept this one on my pull list. I don't know why. I really enjoyed the first issue, but normally I try to, cut the fat, and usually after issue 1, I'll try to cut a lot of titles off my pull list, because I just have way too many titles now. I can't keep up with them all, but this one I've kept on there, and like I said, I'm really glad that I have, because it keeps surprising me every step of the way. The story revolves around a woman who, when she was really young, was trained to be a contract killer. And she did it for a number of years, from when she was a preteen all the way up until she's probably about 18. And then she makes a total change, and she leaves the lifestyle behind, and she goes on and starts a family and doesn't even think about it for years. Well, her past comes to catch up with her, because the government who hired all the contract killers who trained her are now trying to clean the books, and they're coming after her. And so now she finds herself not only killing people again, but she has to take her own daughter on the road and on the run. In the last issue, we had one of the people that she used to know from her old life. He's an old man now, but he basically got her out of a huge scrape at the end of the last book, and now we find them, all three of them, on the road. And I thought we were going to get more of this, the secret organization by the government that's trying to come kill them. But this book actually revolved around the guy who came and helped save them. And I got to tell you, this was another book that just resonated with me on a heart level. It was so well written. And I really enjoyed reading it. We have, because of the fact that they drove into this town while they're on the run, and that particular town he actually has a history with, and we start to find out that history and why his life is the way that it is currently and how he got to the place they had to be. There was some things that I felt so sad over because of the way the story was laid out. And then you find out that there's really nothing he can do to reconcile, the situation that happened in the past. And here he is, this guy at the end of his life, and he's just helping out this girl that he used to know on the road. But it was really cool to hear this part of his story, because I think he's going to be integral to what goes on going forward. So it was kind of a neat reprieve from the normal narrative to just get into this character, to build him out. And I really appreciated it. Anyway, again, Miles to Go is, it keeps surprising me. This is another one of those books by Aftershock that just keeps me, coming back for more, which I really appreciate. And so if you haven't been on this title, I'd highly recommend you pick up the first 2 issues, and I'm sure number 3 is still on the shelves. And check it out, because I'm really digging it. Okay, so for our next book, we have The King in Black, issue number 2 by Marvel Comics. This one, of course, written by Donny Cates, and the art by Ryan Stegman. So this book picks up right from where we left off in Venom 31. And that's where we found Eddie Brock basically falling to his what looks like to be his demise, being thrown off of a building by Null after having his symbiote ripped out of him. And issue 31 was phenomenal, but here we are, starting off right where that one left off, and boom, he hits the car. And is he dead? He should be dead by all intents and purposes, but he's barely hanging on by a thread, and that's where this story takes off. There's a rush to get him to the Baxter building where the Fantastic Four are at, and there's bringing Dylan in just in case he does die. Iron Man comes in and hatches a plan to save him, to bring a symbiote to him to hopefully save him. Will it save him? Not going to tell you. You should be reading this one for yourself. But there's a lot of really cool things that happen in here. There's a beat with the Human Torch that was just a couple of pages long that I loved inside of this. And we find out that there are still some more characters out there that we haven't heard from yet that are coming into the fray. But this has just so far been a really, really well done event, especially with just the main, titles of Venom and King in Black. I can't say all the rest of the tie-ins will be, relevant, because so far they haven't seemed to be. That's kind of par for the course when it comes to Marvel on these events. But this event, I'm loving every minute of it so far. I think the one thing that I really dig about the way this has been done is the pacing. When the first King in Black, you have Null coming on the scene and really flexing his power and showing really quickly just how powerful he is, and setting the tone for the threat that is now here on Earth. And so that was kind of the first thing. And then you have Venom 31, which basically, doesn't take that fast pace that we got from the first book, kind of setting that tone. We have a whole book that is basically told within the moments of when Eddie is thrown off the top of that building to just before he lands at the bottom. And in those moments of that fall, all of this stuff happens, and this is what's going on inside of his mind. It was phenomenally written. I loved that issue. But then we have this book, and it takes a different shift in pace. And so I love what Cates is doing with that, because it's mixing it up in such a way that it's not just one beat, and but it's written phenomenally. I loved Stegman's artwork inside of this. I don't know who the inker was, but I wasn't too impressed with the inks. But I definitely love Stegman's artwork, and especially when he's paired up with Donny Cates. I think they just do so well together. It's another one of those great creative teams. But I can't say enough. I'm really excited about Venom 32 coming out this week. I'll definitely be reviewing that because that's one of the books that's on the top of my list. And this is, hopefully, this will stay the way that it is, and maybe we'll get my first Marvel event in a long time where I can say that was awesome. That's what my hope is here. Anyway, hope you guys are reading this one too because it's phenomenal. Okay, so for our next book, we have Something is Killing the Children, number 13. Of course, this one's from Boom Studios. And yes, this is the third book on the reviews today that is from James Tynion IV. And of course, this one has the art by Werther Dell'Edera. Okay, so yes, we have, like I said, the third book on the list that is by James Tynion, and there's a reason for that. He's just putting out such phenomenal stuff. 2020 was his year. I mean, I don't think anybody can refute that. 2020 was Tynion's year. It was a terrible year, but it was Tynion's year. And when you look at the body of work that he put out, I'm still kind of amazed at it. I don't know if I've seen a writer do anything like this for quite a while. I may be wrong about that. But you don't see too many writers putting out so much good work at once. So not only did he have a pretty prolific offering at DC Comics through the Joker War and Punchline and all of the tie-ins that kind of went into that in creating a phenomenal Batman run as far as I'm concerned. He did that there at DC Comics, and then we have over at Image Comics his own title, The Department of Truth, which I just reviewed. That's in its 4th issue. And wow, I mean, that has been absolutely phenomenal. And then through another company, we have with Boom Studios, we have Something is Killing the Children, arguably their best title. And we're on the 13th issue of that. And so I've just loved this particular story. And then not only that, but he also has his own title on his own platform, which is Razor Blades, which is a horror anthology that he's putting out. Now, he's not writing every story in that, but he's definitely putting some written works inside of there. So and if you haven't seen that or read that, it's phenomenal. I really love Razor Blades. Definitely check that one out. I hope to be reviewing either issue 1 or 2 here pretty soon on the channel. But he's killing it. He's putting out just this great, prolific, as far as I'm concerned, set of work this last year, and there's no reason for me to believe that he's not going to continue in 2021. So I'm hopeful because we're going to get some great stuff this year, guys. So here we are in issue number 13, and again, this is just one of the titles that I love getting every month. I think Erica Slaughter is probably one of my favorite characters in the last 2 years that has come about. And in this book, we get the House of Slaughter, has shown up on the scene. We got that in the last book, but in this one, we have them basically performing a cleanup on the town because of so many people being in the know about the creatures and who Erica is, and her organization doesn't like to be out in the open the way that they are. And so in the last book, we had one of the organization come, and we know that she basically used a knife on one of the people of the town that this is happening in, and that's where she basically tells Erica now that we're going to be cleaning this up, and not only that, but you're coming back to the House of Slaughter to talk to the old dragon. And of course, this puts Erica right in the thick of it, and she's not having any of it. She's not going to go with them. The first thing that she does is basically puts her in a position to leave and grab the kids and takes off. The problem with that is that leaves the House of Slaughter there with the rest of the grown-ups inside of the town, and that's where the cleanup starts. And let me tell you, because of the fact that there's really nobody around, they've been authorized to do it as brutal as they want to, and they don't hold back. So that's kind of what revolves inside of this book. It always puts me on the edge of my seat. When I got to the end of the book, I was already wishing I had issue number 14, but that's nothing new. Whenever I read this book, that's what ends up usually happening. I'm already ready for the next title. James Tynion, thank you so much for 2020, and I'm so hopeful for what we have going forward, because this title seems it's just going to keep going. It's not, I thought it was going to be like a 12, at first I thought it was going to be a 6 or 12 issue series, but it's obviously going to keep going, and I'm all for that. Okay, so for our next book, we have Canto 2, The Hollow Men, issue number 4. This one by IDW, written by David Bueller, and the art by Drew Zucker. And you guys know how much I love this title. And it seems like forever between when we got the last title and this one. I mean, I've been waiting a long time. But this title was just absolutely phenomenal. Last month, it resonated with me so emotionally. It brought me to tears. There was some things that happened inside of the comic that were so sad, but poetic at the same time. And that's kind of what this book does to me. It makes me resonate on so many different emotional levels because it's just so well done. And so that's kind of what happens in this one. It resonated with me emotionally, but not as sad as the last book was, because this has a whole range of stuff that's happening. We have Canto continuing his adventure, trying to get to the Shrouded Man before it's too late. He's trying to get to the top of the Yellow Mountain. And so now we have him traveling there, and the Fury shows back up. But it's always great when that character shows up, and we get a little origin of her and her sisters and how they came to be the way that they are, which I really appreciated. And then we got a couple of the Guardian Giants from the first series, the Guardians of Dis, which I just absolutely loved, and that provided some comedy relief that was really cool. I say comedy relief, but their story also, when you see some things, also resonated on a sad note as well. So it was just really well done. And then we have Canto finally getting to the top of the Yellow Mountain, and then we have our first maybe glimpse of consternation coming from the Shrouded Man. I don't know, but the tone is set for the adventure to continue, and I can't wait to see how this plays out. Again, it's one of my favorite comics. I absolutely love this. I can't get enough people to read it, and I really hope that I hear soon from both the writer and artist, Zucker and Bueller, because I've asked to interview them. I'd love to have them on the show and have you guys be able to meet them and get introduced to this amazing title. And so there it is, Canto number 2 in the Hollow Men, number 4. I hope number 5 doesn't take as long to come out. All right, so on to our next book, and that's my pick of the week. And this week's pick is The Picture of Everything Else, issue number 1 by Vault Comics. This one written by Dan Waters. The art and colors by Kishore Mohan, and the lettering, again, by Aditya Bidikar. And this is where, again, we get a different style from Bidikar, and I kind of wanted to make sure that that was highlighted here, because seeing the difference between what he did in Department of Truth and what he does inside of this book really made me appreciate that much more what this guy can do. Okay, so I put this on my pull list when it was originally solicited, and so, but I didn't really have, too much of high hopes for it or anything like that. It just looked cool, and I figured I'd give it a read and see how it was. And I gotta tell you, I was insanely surprised by this book. And maybe it's just me, I don't know, but I would definitely check this book out. So the main story is one that basically, okay, so we all know the story of Dorian Gray, right? That's an old time story where this guy Dorian Gray, he's in the prime of his life. He's a good looking dude, and becomes afraid of losing his outward beauty and aging and dying, and so he basically sells his soul for this, for himself to be painted, so that the painting actually ages and withers away while he stays young and seemingly unable to die. That's kind of the gist of what the Portrait of Dorian Gray is, and this book is kind of a play on that. So we have these two guys living in France sometime during the 1800s. I can't really tell; it doesn't really give you a year, but it's definitely in France, and they're both artists, painters themselves, and but they're also living a life of debauchery, thievery, getting drunk, having fun. And they just kind of don't take anything seriously. And in the background, you keep hearing the story about this Paris Ripper that's killing people. And so one thing leads to another, and they find out about this English artist that is in town, and you soon find out that this artist has this ability. We don't know how he got the ability, but it's kind of the opposite of the Dorian Gray thing. So anybody that he paints, if you destroy the painting, it will destroy the person, the subject of the painting, in whatever way that painting was destroyed. So if you rip the painting in half and it rips down the middle of the person in the painting, out of nowhere, that person will be ripped in half, seemingly by nothing that's there, but he'll just split in half. Visceral. And if you burn the painting, that person will burn up. And so this ability that this Englishman has, and the way these two come into contact with him, is basically the basis for this story. Now, the really cool thing about it is that you get into the relationship of these two and the narrative of all this that is going on through a device where you have conversation between them, and then some letters that are going back and forth between them, which kind of felt Stoker-esh, which I really appreciated. And then when you look at the lettering from Bidikar, it's not like insanely really nuanced, but there's some waves to the word bubbles that kind of feel like a dance that is going on. And without using plays on grammar to make it sound like they're having a French accent, I could almost hear the French accents inside of my mind and the dance of words that they're playing around with each other and people that they're talking to, juxtaposed against direct statements that don't have that flow to it, really set a tone for what was going on inside of this book. And then the artwork by Mohan really set the tone for it to be a period piece, and it had me gripped. It had me gripped from the very beginning. By the end, it's really freaking creepy, and so I really love that about it. And I just loved how the story unfolded and how we got to the place that we got to, the relationship between those two main characters, and then of course this creepy painter with this ability who now is going to take one of them as his apprentice. So I'm looking forward to this title going forward. Definitely made my pick of the week. It just resonated with me on a whole bunch of different levels. I thought it was really, really well done and put together in such a way that just, for me, it just gripped me. So there it is. That's my pick of the week, folks. Hope you check it out. So that's it, folks. That's my reviews for this week. Hope you enjoyed those. Like I said, not too many books, but, a smattering of things that came about in the last couple of weeks that I cherry picked. I mean, it's only, 6-7 titles that I just reviewed out of the, 30 books that I got. So anyway, I had fun. I had fun reading, and I hope you enjoyed the reviews. And of course, before we end the show, we always end with our panel of the week. And our panel of the week is brought to you by the Rogue Trader. You can definitely check out the link down in the description and go to their website. They have a great pressing and cleaning service that I use. And if you've seen my last CGC unboxing video, you'll see that my ratio of 9.8 went way up. And I'm just really excited to be partnered with these guys, and especially the owner, Eric Strubble. He's a personal friend. He supports not only my channel, but Bueller's channel. He's an absolute gem to the comic book community. And so go check out the Rogue Trader. Also, he has a YouTube channel where he puts out stuff. So go check out the Rogue Trader YouTube channel and give him a like and a subscribe over there, and show him some love and support him, because he does so much to support the community. And this week's panel of the week comes from Batman Annual number 5. And the panel I'm speaking about is the Clown Hunter basically taking down his first clown and his first kill, basically. And so we get this, clowns are starting to, do what they're doing inside of the Narrows. And he finally gets fed up, puts on this uniform. He basically takes Batman's Batarang and hammers it through a bat, and he creates this thing called, he calls his Bat. And we have a clown that drops, after he hits him, drops a Molotov cocktail, and before he can grab that Molotov cocktail back up. He uses this bat in a swing that looks more like hitting a hockey puck, and he breaks open the Molotov cocktail, spraying flames all over this clown. There it is up on the screen. I just love this panel. It was visceral. It resonated, showing how much his anger burned down deep inside, and how much he's resolved to do what he needs to do to get rid of these clowns. And the artwork inside of this book, all of it was phenomenal, but I really enjoyed this panel because I could see exactly what the artist was trying to do here. This guy Stokey, I'm really digging his stuff. So there he is. That's the panel of the week. Hope you enjoyed it. So that's it. That's the show. Hope you enjoyed the new format. I mean, really not much different than what you've seen before. Just a title change and a couple of little nuances different. But you're going to see a lot more reviews coming up. I'm going to be dropping one later this week. I'll be actually reviewing the TKO book, Lonesome Days and Savage Nights. I really enjoyed this book. The artwork is phenomenal inside of it, and excited to be able to give you my thoughts on the book. So definitely check that out. And then also, I'm going to be doing another CGC unboxing this week, and I'm really excited about that. I got some titles that are in this batch that I'm really excited to get back, and so we'll see. We'll see what I garnered as far as the actual grades. But again, I just want to say to everybody, Happy New Year to you. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. We got a lot of great things coming up, and I really hope that you take that ride with me. Do me a favor, if you like the content I'm putting out, hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, do me a favor, hit that subscription, so you can see my videos going forward. I'd really like to have you here. And so anyway, folks, take care of yourselves. Remember to support your local comic shop, and as always, Excelsior. Take care, folks.
Stop talking about comic books or I'll kill you. I don't care if the Hulk could defeat the